Hey there everyone, and welcome back to another vlog. I'm actually going to be doing a witchy reading vlog this week and I am so excited about it. I have so many witchy books to get through and I'm excited to finally make a dent in them. I swear to God, I collect these books all year and I'm gonna read them all in October and September, and I've read one witchy book so far. It is the middle of October, so I am clearly slacking on that front and I need to get ahead of it. So let's talk about the books that we could potentially pick up in this vlog. So first, I don't have a physical copy of this book right now, and actually I might not. It's on Kindle Unlimited, and that is The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic by Lindsay Hall. I have heard really fun things about this book, and it's like 330 pages on Kindle Unlimited. I'm assuming it'll be a witchy rom-com book. So I think it'll be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. Another book that I have physically, and I actually have all of the books in this series that are out so far. I don't know if it's still going on or not, but I have Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper, and this is the first book in the Thistle Grove series, I think. This is like a small town witchy rom-com. This woman kind of takes herself out of this town and her magic has been dwindling because she hasn't been close to the magic, and she's been on this self-imposed exile because of this man who is back there. It's giving me X-Hex vibes, and I can't wait. I think it's going to be so fun. I've heard great things about this series, so I'm really excited to dive into this one. And then I actually have an audiobook through Libby, and that is The Near Witch by Victoria Schwab. Is this V.E. Schwab? I'm pretty sure it's V.E. Schwab, but I think it's her her YA author name. So this is a book, it seems interesting. It'll be a 9-hour audiobook, and it talks about how the Near Witch is an old story to frighten children. If the wind calls at night, you must not listen. So this little girl sees this man appear out of thin air, and then children start going missing. So that is kind of the premise of this story. I think it'll be interesting. I haven't really read much by V.E. Schwab, so I am excited especially to see how her YA writing is like. And then lastly, Cackle by Rachel Harrison. I have heard just such interesting reviews about this book. It's not really a rom-com, but it's more so I think about like female friendships and how one woman is perceived by others. I think this story follows a girl who is not very sociable, doesn't have a ton of friends, but then she's immediately entranced by this other woman and starts to hang out with her, but can't ignore kind of the whispers about what people are saying about her and how it's kind of off. Like, she lives in the woods, her house is kind of creepy, like they mumble witch, but like, can she really be one? I'm assuming yes, but I guess we'll see. So I am really excited about this one. I've just heard such interesting things and can't wait to form my own opinion about it. So those are the books that I could potentially pick up in this vlog. I know that I'm going to be picking up The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic because that is for book club immediately today, and then I will see what other books I end up picking up. But actually, my fiance, shockingly, said that we could go to 2nd and Charles to kind of show his friends around, so I guess that means we're gonna go book shopping. We could actually go and just look, but what's the fun in that, you know? I have cash, so that means that it's not real money being spent. That's girl math, as always. And we'll see what we can find. So I'll take you guys along for that, and we'll come back and update you all when I have them. Alright everyone, so I am back with a few updates. So first, I got about 40% of the way into The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic by Lindsay Hall, and it is just really cute and charming. We get dual POVs, and we are primarily following this witch who has not really come into her powers. It's kind of temperamental and she can't really control it. after something happened between the main male character and her. She just banished herself from this tiny little town, and now she is back in order to compete for this garden, which is essential to her grandmother's business. In order to do this, she's going to be up against other people with magic who can just control their magic better. So she is really timid about it, but she actually gets paired up with this guy, and we actually get to see from his point of view. And he just has not stopped thinking about her since the last time that she was in, I believe it's called Charming Cove. It's a very cute setting. But he, at that time, she was just a little bit too young. So she was 17, which was just like a very interesting add to it, I guess. Maybe because the timing was just wrong. And so he wanted to wait. And now that she is back and they are doing this competition together, he is really excited to get to know her better and try to change her opinion about him. So honestly, I would say that this is kind of like a cozy witchy read, because even though they are competing for this garden that has all of the different plants that's needed for the grandmother's business, the guy is competing for the garden for like his own purposes, but ultimately it's not. I guess when you see fantasy, you're thinking kind of like life or death situations. This is not one of them. So it is nice to have that. There's like a fun little romance involved. You get the kind of found family as well. And it's really sweet. It's really sweet. I'm having a good time with it, but I think I'm in the mood for something a little bit more intense, which is totally fine. I just need to finish this up because it's Monday night now and book club's on Wednesday, so I have to do that, which is fine because it's about 6 p.m. now and I'm already at about 40%, so I should be able to make a really big dent in it tonight. Because the other update is that my fiance is away on a work trip. This is the first time, like, since we've been together that he is gone during the week and I'm here, and I miss him dearly. But it is something to be said when you can do what you want on your own time schedule, and that looks like being showered and in the bed and reading by 6 p.m. So I am very much looking forward to the reading that I'm going to be able to do this week, and can't wait to update you all and take you all along as well. It's kind of nerve-wracking being home alone, but like pretty cool too. I guess when you're an adult, that's kind of what you do, right? So those are my updates, and now let's go shower and get in the bed so we can start a night of reading. All right, everyone, we are back. I really didn't take any type of B-roll or show you all that I was reading because it is kind of odd to do it on an iPad or even on a Kindle. So I just really didn't record that much with it. But what I did do was finish The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic by Lindsay Hall, and I ended up rating this 3 stars. I'm pretty sure I already talked about the plot, and it was a super cute, fun read. The stakes were very low, and I enjoyed them, like the competition aspect for the garden and also the nature involved with the main witch. Plant magic and potion making and like just the connection to nature and everything in nature, I really enjoy. It's kind of interesting though, I've seen this in a few KU romances, but I don't know why the authors feel compelled to do this, but the story can end without the main character saying like, I love you. Like, you do not have to drop an L-bomb for it to be a romance. We can just say that we had a good time and allude to the future together. But it was just kind of funny because I did not think that the actions really warranted said L-bomb. But that's what we got, and that's what she's sticking with, and that's okay. I think if I really wanted to get back into it, because I think the town is called Charming Cove, and I believe there's like an interconnected standalone series, so I think the next one is like How to Fake Date a Vampire or something. So, I mean, I could definitely see myself revisiting it, but I think that it would just be more of like a cozy, like 3 stars. Like, you're not really looking for anything fantastic. You're just looking to be kind of chilled out while you're reading, if that makes sense. So yeah, 3 stars. If like low stakes, just like a cozy garden competition sounds good to you, then you should definitely check this one out. It was very cute, and I would recommend. Also, I wanted to touch on the fact that I have no idea how people read the same genre for a week. I find myself really struggling to do like another witchy romance because let's face it, how many okay, besides Wayward, I guess, I'm not really sure of a ton of witch books that aren't like rom-com focused. Like that entire shelf, like that top shelf back there, is all witchy rom-coms. And call me crazy, but the plot's always kind of similar. So, and there's nothing wrong with that, but most of the time I just need like a break between them. So like typically you'll see me read like a strictly romance, then a fantasy, then a thriller, then a YA mystery, so that I could just like cycle through and not get tired of one plot too much. But I am worried about that a little bit. But we are, and of course the book is downstairs, so I'll show you all when I get to reading for the night. But I started reading Payback's A Witch by Lana Harper, and it's like a very similar plot. I've only made it like 18 pages in, so I have not really evaluated the book yet. But what we do know is that the main character is coming back to her hometown. We get to watch her drive over the town's like ley lines that produce the magic for the town, and she's refilled with magic because she kind of gave it up when she left 5 years ago. So she has this wholly non-magic based life in Chicago, and she's coming home to take part in this familial ritual. And she comes back and she's trying to get settled in the town. We know that the reason that she left pretty much is from a guy. We know that it's from a guy. Something happened with said guy, and now he is drunk in a bar kind of saddling up to her. So that's where we're at in that one. Should be interesting. We'll see how it goes. I'll try to include more clips of me actually reading the book this time. But I just finished my other audiobook. I was listening to The Younger Woman by Sally Hepworth, and I really enjoyed that. That was like a psychological thriller and very good. 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely enjoyed my time with it. But that means now I can start my listen of The Near Witch by V.E. Schwab. So I am really looking forward to that. I haven't read anything by V.E. Schwab, so I'm really, really looking forward to getting a grasp of her writing style and what the big deal is, because everybody loves her. But before I go and get started on some reading, during the time of this video, Target is doing their buy one, get one 50% off for books, so I obviously couldn't resist. These are actually pretty practical purchases that I can see myself reading in the next at least 2 months. So first, I got the paperback version of Crescent City's House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas, and this is as big and as intimidating as I was expecting it to be. I haven't read Crescent City yet, but obviously the new book in Crescent City comes out in January of 2024, so I'm running out of time. I need to read them, so I had to have this on hand. That's it. And then I could have just gone for that, but I wanted to do the buy one, get one. Why wouldn't you? And so I picked up Tessa Bailey's Wreck the Halls. I'm so excited for the holiday romances, and I genuinely don't even enjoy them that much. Like, if it's focused on Christmas, for the most part, I think it's going to be cookie cutter, but I think that Tessa Bailey is not cookie cutter. We'll see. I think it's going to have a unique plot, and I think it's going to be a good time. If not, it'll be a cute cover on the shelf. So that was the BOGO deal, and I'm very happy with it. I really wanted to pick this one up. Have I been doing online book shopping as well? Yes, we do not talk about it. Those are all of my reading updates. So what I'm going to do is go and get a few other things done, and then I will get into Payback's Witch. All right. Alright everyone, it is quite a few days later now, but I have a few reading updates for you. Also, I don't know if I've said this, but like, I'm a corporate girly. I work 8 to 5, so when I say a few days later, it's because I really don't have time to read, or like I have time, but like not enough to give you all an update, so that's that. This is normal reading speed, truly. So first, I'm about 88 pages into Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper, and this is actually turning into a very fun story and one that I wasn't expecting. So our main character, Emmy, is coming back to her hometown, which is like a magic town. And so she comes back to be this arbiter in this competition that happens every so often. And so she is the one who like makes the calls, has the power to like oversee the tournament. I'm pretty sure when I gave the overview, I said that she kind of ran out of this town because she was so diminished by this guy, was basically like, I can't see myself with you long term because of who you are. Like Harlow, who are the arbiters, they're just not very powerful witches. So she felt horrible, left, made something of herself outside of this magic town, and now she's coming back to be the arbiter, and she meets up with one of her best friends who had lived there and finds out that she actually got with the same guy and the guy did the same thing to her. So she got screwed over, and then another girl in the like 4 big witch families also got screwed over. Just a bunch of scorned witches, very upset about this one guy who really shows no remorse at all. So they're like, we want to make him pay, basically. Payback is a witch. So they all want to just like basically group up on this guy and make him suffer, like not like anything too bad, but they want to see him not do as well in the tournament as what he's used to. So the 2 families who are actually competing are kind of gonna work together to just make him feel uncomfortable. Maybe he'll still win, but like at least he'll sweat a little bit. So Emmy can't really do anything because she's like an impartial third party overseeing the tournament, but she's aware and kind of in on it. But amongst all of this, Emmy is falling for one of the witches who is also got screwed over by the same guy. So it's really fun to see that tension between the 2 witches, and like, so it's kind of sapphic and fun and just very different, I think, than like the normal plot line. Because how I thought it would go was she was going to come back into town and Gareth would like try to make up for how bad he was as a younger kid. But no, she is just going to fall for the other witch, and that's way more fun. I'm pumped about that. I'm having a good time and hoping to read a lot more of that today. Yesterday though, I had like a nail appointment and a hair appointment, so if my hair looks different, that's why. But I have seen so many good things about Spookily Yours, and I can't remember who it's by right now, but it's on KU, so I went ahead and I downloaded it so that when they were doing my hair and I was just sitting there, like my nails were soaking off, I could read it. And it is so cute. It actually is just like really, really freaking cute. So it's about this witch in this little town. They all sound the same, don't they? But she's actually just lost her familiar, who was Binks, her cat, and she's kind of been going through like a rough patch. She's 28 and she has just been like kind of resistant to change. So one day she's finally like, I'm gonna go look and try to find another cat, another familiar basically, see if anything speaks to me. So she goes and she finds this one cat who the shelter call like Lucifer, like that's a demon cat, but the demon cat is really kind to her. So she ends up taking him home, and we can see through the point of view of the demon cat because it's not actually a cat, it's actually a demon. And he is like, I trust this witch, she's gonna try to get me out of this like cat form and back to my former glory as a demon. So all of that's going on, and it's just super fun because you can see them start to like fall for each other. She doesn't fall for the cat, obviously, but also she's kind of like, what would he look like? Because he starts talking to her. She's like, oh, his voice is kind of nice. So it's super fun. It's like a really good time, and it's only 240 some pages, so it's super short. The plot is just progressing really quickly and it's very enjoyable. So I'm having a great time with it, and I'm probably gonna finish it today because it is so short. But yeah, loving that one. Would definitely recommend picking it up on KU. And then lastly, I am I think like 20% into The Near Witch by, I think it's V.E. Schwab. And this is really interesting. I've never read a V.E. Schwab book before, so I don't really know her style, and this was like the first book for her that really made it. So it is interesting. It's set in like an older time in this town of Near, and this stranger shows up. There are no strangers in this town. They all know each other. It's a small town. So a stranger shows up and everybody just freaks out. They're like, who is this stranger? Where did he go? What does he want? And as soon as the stranger shows up, kids start going missing. And so our main character, who I think is like in her teens, but she is very resilient, very headstrong. It's like, I'm gonna go find this stranger. and see if he has any connection to the missing children. That's really all I know about it. I'm not sure how it's going to progress. I'm assuming they're going to try to find the children, but I don't know. It's interesting. I don't have a lot of thoughts on it yet. Like, I'm not super captured by the story, but I'm also going to keep watching it, reading it. That is where I'm at so far. I have a couple of errands to run today, so I'll be listening to that, and then some general cleaning, so I'll keep reading that, but I don't have anything until like 6 tonight. So I'll be having just like a chill, kind of cozy reading day. I'm very excited about it. So I will talk to you all when I have another update. Alright everyone, and we are back to give kind of the final reading updates and to close this vlog out. So first, yesterday I actually got like my bridal spray tan trial run done, so I had a ton of time to just sit down and read, and I ended up finishing both Spookily Yours and Payback's a Witch. So first, let's talk about Spookily Yours. This was so cute. This was like a fun Kindle Unlimited romance that I had picked up just off of a whim. So I really had a good time with it. The plot was super fast because it's only 240 pages, so you really get a lot packed in. And I feel like it set up the next story so well. And I'm so excited about it because I was thinking while I was reading it, wow, I would love to see these characters. And sure enough, that is the plan for, I believe, the next spooky season. So yeah, I really had a good time with it. There was a fair amount of spice, so that was super fun. It's set in the month of October in a literal witch town, so the fall vibes are immaculate. It is so cozy. And there's one specific trope, and I don't want to say it because it could be like a spoiler, but I love that trope, and that is extremely vague, and I'm sorry for that, but I don't want to ruin it. But it is, again, Kindle Unlimited, so if you just need something fun and quick, this was such a cute romance, and I would definitely recommend picking it up. 4 stars. And then next, Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper. I ended up giving this 3.5, rounded up to 4 stars. And I had a fantastic time with this book. I loved that this was not the classic witchy rom-com. This was more like sapphic based. They really did want to get some revenge on this guy for screwing all of these witches over. And he was just not redeemable as a character, and that's okay too, but the romance element between the 2 witches was super fun. One, I think it was a little bit slower to get into and really get the plot going because this is also like a lower stakes book. They are competing in a tournament, but it's really just like who is the best among the 4 families. So it's not like a big deal, but it was a good way to exact that kind of just desserts on this guy because it is like not going to completely ruin him. It is just going to make him squirm a little bit. Yeah, but otherwise, I mean, it was fun, and I'm looking forward to continuing the series, but it wasn't anything like super great for me, so that's okay. That's so funny because I really like, I'm gonna look back on this fondly, so I don't want to say it wasn't anything super great because it was a really good time. So yeah, I would recommend picking this up too if you're looking for like a little bit more of a twist to your classic witchy rom-com. And then I am about 30% into the audiobook for The Near Witch by V.E. Schwab, and I don't know. My last audiobook listen was more of a thriller, so it was easier to get into since this is set in a time period that was just like, they have like the older language. It's just harder for me to like really get into. The plot isn't really progressing as quickly as I would like it to, and I just fundamentally have such an issue when we are talking about the older times and men are like, women should only be delivering bread and sewing. Like, it really strains me to hear that. I know that that's how it was, but it doesn't make it any easier to consume. So I think once I get a little bit more into the book, and I think I might actually go pick a copy up from the library so I can just have the physical version too, so maybe that will be a more enjoyable reading experience. But those are all my updates, and I'm actually going to close the vlog out now, so let's kind of do a recap of what I ended up reading this week. So first, we finished The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic by Lindsay Hall, and I gave this 3 stars. Super cozy, very cute. Kindle Unlimited, would definitely recommend. Next, I finished Spookily Yours by Jennifer Chipman, and I gave this 4 stars. It was just too cute and fast-paced and a short read, so it just packed a lot into a little package, and I really, really appreciate when authors do that. So 4 stars, definitely pick this up on KU as well. And then lastly, Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper. This is the first book in the Thistle Grove Witches series, and I had such a good time with it. 3.5 to 4 stars, and I just talked about it, so I won't really go into it, but definitely like a fun twist on your classic witchy rom-com, so would recommend. And there are no real books that I wouldn't recommend in this vlog, but I think it is absolutely hilarious that I said that I was going to make a dent in my physical witchy TBR. I only read one. I only read one from my physical TBR, so that might be an issue. But what I didn't do, since the other 2 were Kindle Unlimited, I didn't order them, so I am kind of netting 0 there, so at least I'm not adding to the collection, you know? Luckily, all of these books ended up being like slightly different, so it wasn't just the same plot point over and over. I know I touched on that earlier in this vlog, but I did have such a good time with it and think that I'll probably do more themed reading vlogs. We'll see. It was a pretty high commitment to do it, but it was a good time and I will remember it probably fondly. And those are all of my reading updates, so thank you all for sticking with me through this vlog. I hope you had a good time with it. I feel like the reading vlogs are getting a little bit better, but let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below and what your favorite witchy read of this spooky season has been. And I will catch you all in the next one. Bye!